Have you ever noticed how the harder you try to make something happen, the more it slips away? You push, you visualize, you affirm with every ounce of energy, and yet it feels like life ignores the script you're writing. The text you wait for doesn't arrive. The opportunity you rehearse in your head never calls your name, and the more desperately you lean in, the more reality seems to lean back. It almost feels like manifestation runs in reverse. Like the moment you grip tighter, the current shifts against you. And here's the strange truth most people never hear. That's not a mistake. That's not the universe being cruel. That's the field showing you how it really works. Quantum manifestation doesn't move in the direction of your force. It moves in the direction of your frequency. Reality is not following your wants on the surface. It's mirroring the vibration you're settled into underneath. And the paradox is this: the moment you stop straining, the moment you step into coherence, the very thing you thought you had to chase begins moving towards you. Think about it. You've seen this in small ways. The day you stopped obsessing over someone, they finally reached out. The week you let go of the pressure around money, a solution popped up out of nowhere. What looks like reversal is actually alignment. The flow in reverse is reality's way of collapsing the timeline you were blocking with your grasping. And this is the power most people miss. You don't create by sprinting forward. You create by becoming the station reality can't help but tune into. In the next part, I'll show you exactly how this reversal works in the field of observation and why your body, not your mind, broadcasts the real signal. The most radical truth about manifestation is hidden in plain sight. Physics has already given us the language, the observer effect. The act of observation doesn't just record reality, it influences which version of reality solidifies. But here's the twist that most teachings water down. It's not your conscious thoughts that collapse the wave. It's the embodied frequency of your entire system. Think of reality like a radio. There are infinite stations already broadcasting, endless versions of your life, parallel outcomes, different relationships, different levels of abundance. You don't create the signal by begging for it. You access it by tuning your own receiver, your nervous system, your breath, your posture, your core assumptions. When your signal stabilizes, you lock onto a station. That station feels like what happens next. The reason things feel like they flow in reverse is because the field is listening not to the words in your head, but to the resonance in your body. When you're gripping, you're tuned to lack. When you're relaxed, you're tuned to coherence. You can repeat a mantra all day long, but if the station your body is playing is panic, the field will echo panic. Here's where it gets wild. Your reality doesn't follow your commands. It reflects your coherence. Imagine trying to hear smooth jazz while your dial is stuck between static and heavy metal. You can demand the jazz all you want, but until the tuning shifts, the noise won't resolve. The universe isn't punishing you. It's obeying physics, and embodiment is the dial. Your shoulders drop, your breath deepens, your heart rate steadies. That's a tuning shift. Your body is the interface through which timelines select themselves. It's why someone can decide they're abundant, yet still live in scarcity, because their body is broadcasting resistance while their mind chants possibility. So when manifestation seems to run in reverse, when letting go suddenly magnetizes what you wanted, it's because surrender flips the dial. You accidentally fall into coherence, and coherence is the station where the outcome already exists. Now here's the myth almost everyone carries, the myth that keeps them locked in frustration, endlessly spinning the dial without ever finding the signal. The biggest myth about manifestation is that if you just think hard enough, imagine vividly enough, or repeat affirmations long enough, the universe will hand over your request like a vending machine. This is why so many people burn out on the process. They try to think their way into a new reality, but the body never joins the conversation. The result? Static on the dial. Let me show you with a simple scene. Imagine someone under money pressure, bills stacking, rent due, notifications buzzing on the phone. They sit down, close their eyes, and try to visualize wealth. They picture numbers in their bank account rising. They whisper, "I am abundant, I am abundant." On the surface, it looks like alignment, but underneath, their chest is tight, their stomach clenches, their breath barely moves past the throat. Their body is not broadcasting abundance, it's broadcasting fear. And reality, like a perfect radio mirror, reflects the station being played. The signal of fear selects timelines where money stays scarce. Here's the hard pill most teachings avoid. The field doesn't listen to what you say. It listens to what you are. And embodiment, your felt state, your nervous system's baseline, is the language of the field. This is why you've seen moments where manifestation worked without effort. You weren't forcing a thought. You were already in the frequency. You were naturally relaxed, naturally open. That's when the synchronicity popped, the call came, the opportunity arrived. So the myth is this: if I just think harder, it will come. No. Thought without embodiment is like turning the volume up on a station you're not even tuned to. Louder static, same distortion. The real shift comes when the body broadcasts safety. Safety tells the field, I'm tuned to the timeline where this reality exists. That's why the text arrives the moment you stop staring at your phone. The station flipped. Not because you begged, but because you dropped into coherence. This doesn't mean you should abandon visioning or affirmations. It means those tools only work when paired with embodiment. Visualization becomes powerful when your body softens into it. Affirmations stick when they're echoed in your breath and posture. Otherwise, they're empty words sent across a scrambled signal. And this is where most people get stuck. They try to climb into a new reality using only the mind, but the door only opens when the body feels safe enough to walk through. So the next question becomes, how do you create that safety? How do you shift the dial of your body so the field can finally reflect the timeline you've been chasing? If you want to know the real gatekeeper of manifestation, it's not your mind. It's your nervous system. The body decides what feels possible long before the mind builds a story about it. If your body is stuck in survival, you can repeat every affirmation under the sun, but your signal will still be scrambled. Think about it. When you're anxious, your breath gets shallow, your muscles tense, your awareness narrows. The body is broadcasting danger, and the field echoes it back. Safety doesn't just feel good, it literally stabilizes the dial. When you feel safe, you expand. Your awareness opens, your system resonates with coherence, and coherence is what locks in the station where what you desire already exists. Here's the sciencey piece made simple. Your heart and brain communicate constantly. When your heart rhythm is erratic, your brain gets chaotic signals. When your heart rhythm smooths out, what researchers call coherence, your brain aligns, your emotions settle, and your field sends out a clean broadcast. That's when the universe can hear you clearly. So how do you create coherence when life feels like it's falling apart? Let's do a 45-second practice right now. Pause. Close your eyes if you can. Place one hand on your chest, one on your belly. Inhale gently through your nose for a count of 4. Let your belly expand. Hold softly for a moment. Exhale through your mouth for a count of 6. Feel your shoulders melt. Do this 2 more times, letting the breath slow your system down. Now as you breathe, bring to mind a memory, not of your desire, but of a moment you felt safe or cared for. Maybe someone's smile, a place that felt like home, even the warmth of sunlight on your skin. Notice how your body shifts with that memory. That shift, that's coherence, that's tuning. What you just did is not pretend. You literally shifted your station. And from here, your thoughts gain traction. Your visions have a body that can hold them. Without this step, you're trying to blast music through a broken speaker. With this step, the signal becomes clear. This is why surrender often works better than control, because surrender relaxes the nervous system. And when your system relaxes, the field finally has permission to line up with you. But here's the next trap people fall into. They confuse feeling good for a moment with actually shifting who they are. That's the difference between temporary state and lasting identity. And unless we bridge that gap, the signal fades as quickly as it came. A calm breath can shift you in seconds. A coherent heartbeat can open the dial. But here's the hard truth. States are fleeting. You can meditate in the morning, feel aligned for 20 minutes, then get derailed the moment your boss snaps at you or a bill hits your inbox. If manifestation were only about hitting good states, no one would stay stuck. The real game isn't about chasing temporary states, it's about embodying a stable identity. Identity is the station that never turns off. It's the background frequency your system hums even when you're not paying attention. If you identify as someone who always struggles, you will unconsciously tune into timelines where struggle repeats. Even if you occasionally catch a high-vibe state, your baseline pulls you back. But if you embody the identity of someone who is supported, then even when you wobble, the field keeps mirroring support. Identity outlives the mood of the moment. Think of it like this. A state is a song you put on repeat for a while. An identity is the genre your whole playlist lives in. You might switch tracks, but the style stays consistent. And reality responds to the genre, not just the track. This is why people often get frustrated after doing a vision board or affirmation challenge. They can feel good for a week, even notice small synchronicities. But then something stressful happens and the old identity takes the wheel. The signal reverts. The manifestation fades, not because the method didn't work, but because the deeper broadcast, the identity, was never upgraded. Here's the paradox. You don't need to become a new identity from scratch. Every possible version of you already exists as a station on the dial. You simply tune into the one where the identity of your desire is normal, and you stabilize there, not through effort but through repetition of embodiment until it feels natural. So the real question becomes, how do you access that identity and lock it in? How do you cross from states that flicker like candles to an identity that burns like the sun? The answer takes us into the mystery of timelines and why the version of you you've been trying to reach isn't ahead of you at all. It's already broadcasting, waiting for you to tune in. Here's the shift that flips everything. Timelines aren't something you walk toward. They're something you tune into. Every possible version of you, successful, struggling, loved, lonely, abundant, broke, already exists, broadcasting like parallel radio stations. And the identity you embody is what locks you onto one station over another. Let's make it concrete. Imagine a job interview. Two candidates walk in with the same skills. One carries the identity of, I'm probably not enough, but I'll try to convince them. Their body language leaks it. Their voice hesitates, their smile strains, their nervous system hums with doubt. They're tuned to the station where rejection repeats. The other candidate embodies the identity of, I'm the kind of person people trust and hire, not as a fake confidence act, but as a deep baseline. Their nervous system is settled, their body breathes evenly, their eyes meet without flinch. They're tuned to the station where being chosen is ordinary. The same panel, the same questions, two different timelines selected by two different identities. Identity is not just how you see yourself, it's how your nervous system broadcasts your place in reality. If your identity is still wired to scarcity, you will keep tuning into timelines where bills pile up. If your identity is wired to abundance, you land in timelines where resources flow toward you, and this isn't about pretending. It's about stabilizing in the embodied truth of that station until the field can't help but mirror it. Here's the wild part. Shifting identity doesn't take years. It takes repetition of coherence until the new frequency feels like home. Each time you breathe into safety while imagining yourself as already chosen, already abundant, already healthy, you're training your body to call that station normal. And once it feels normal, reality rearranges to match it. This is why trying to force a new outcome without shifting identity never works. You might land a win here or there, but the old baseline will drag you back. It's like trying to listen to smooth jazz while your dial is still stuck on static. The signal won't hold until the dial stabilizes, so the invitation is this. Stop asking, how do I get there? And start asking, which station am I broadcasting from now? The leap isn't across distance, it's across frequency. And the more you embody the identity of the version of you already living that timeline, the faster the dial locks in. Now the question becomes, how do you rehearse this shift in a way that sticks? How do you train your nervous system to make the identity of your desire the baseline it returns to no matter what? Shifting identity isn't about pretending, it's about rehearsal. Just like athletes rehearse movements until their body remembers them, you can rehearse a frequency until your nervous system claims it as home. And once your system adopts it as normal, the field aligns accordingly. Let me give you a toolkit, 4 simple methods that, when combined, create a mini protocol for identity rehearsal. First, bridge statements. Instead of leaping from "I'm broke" to "I'm a millionaire," you use gentle bridges the body can believe. Try "I'm open to discovering support," or "I'm learning how to feel safe with money." These statements aren't fake. They're stepping stones that bring your nervous system along instead of triggering resistance. Second, somatic anchors. Choose a physical cue that you associate with your desired identity. For example, pressing your thumb and forefinger together while breathing deeply, or resting your hand on your chest when you want to return to safety. Over time, that gesture becomes a shortcut to the frequency you're rehearsing. The body learns. This touch equals coherence. Third, identity embodiment drills. Instead of just thinking, actually move like the version of you you're becoming. Walk across the room as if you already had the job. Sit at your desk as if abundance was your baseline. Let your shoulders, breath, and gaze broadcast the station of that identity. It might feel silly at first, but the nervous system doesn't know pretend. It knows practice. Fourth, daily microvisuals. Not long meditations, but quick embodied check-ins. While making coffee, pause for 10 seconds, breathe into your chest, and picture yourself already living from the chosen timeline. Pair the image with a felt sense of safety. These micro-rehearsals weave the identity into ordinary life, so it stops being an exercise and starts being your baseline. When you stack these 4 tools, you create a rehearsal loop. Bridge your beliefs, anchor them somatically, embody them physically, reinforce them in daily life. Do this consistently, and the identity shifts from effort to default. And once it's default, the station holds steady. This is where the real magic begins. Because the moment you stop gripping and start embodying, reality doesn't just trickle, it cascades. Have you noticed that the moment you stopped gripping, what you wanted finally showed up? Tell me your story in the comments. It might unlock someone else's leap. But before you get too comfortable, we need to address the shadows. The 3 traps that break coherence faster than anything else: urgency, split signals, and over-control. And unless you know how to transmute them, they'll keep pulling you off the station every time. No matter how much you rehearse a new identity, 3 obstacles will test your signal over and over. They sneak in quietly, but they can collapse coherence in seconds if you don't know how to spot them. Let's break them down. The first trap is urgency. The nervous system reads urgency as danger. When you think, "I need this now or else," your body contracts, your breath shortens, and your broadcast shifts into scarcity. Urgency scrambles the dial. The antidote is to stretch time. Instead of "I need it now," try breathing into "I am already on the path and it's unfolding." Even saying, "This can arrive in the right moment," teaches your body to relax. And when your system relaxes, the field can finally synchronize. The second trap is split signals. This happens when you try to tune into 2 stations at once. For example, you visualize abundance but complain about bills all day. You affirm love but secretly replay rejection in your head. Your body can't stabilize coherence if your signal is fractured. The solution is gentle alignment. Don't try to fake positivity. Instead, notice the split and close the gap with bridge statements. I notice fear, but I also choose to breathe into possibility. Over time, that honesty integrates the split into a singular signal. The third trap is over-control. This is the obsession with micromanaging every step, constantly checking if it's working, refreshing your phone, scripting every possible outcome. Over-control tells the body, "I don't trust the field," and mistrust collapses the broadcast. The way through isn't to stop caring. It's to redirect your control. Control your coherence, not the outcome. Control your breath, your posture, your daily practice. Let the field handle the choreography. Here's the pattern. Urgency, split signals, and over-control all boil down to the same root: safety. The moment your nervous system feels unsafe, it tries to grab, fix, or multitask. And the more it grabs, the more the station drifts into static. But when you give your body safety, the urge to control dissolves. The split signals integrate, time expands, and suddenly the field has space to deliver what you've been chasing. So the invitation isn't to eliminate these traps. It's to recognize them as reminders. I'm slipping off station. Time to breathe back into coherence. That recognition itself is the rehearsal. Now, once you can hold coherence even when life tugs at you, the real test begins, carrying it into the ordinary everyday moments. Because manifestation doesn't only happen on the meditation cushion, it happens while you're walking, eating, texting, and talking. And that's where we're going next. Most people treat manifestation like a ritual they do in special moments. They sit to meditate, close their eyes, breathe deeply, visualize. Then they stand up, check their phone, rush into traffic, scroll social media, and the frequency collapses. What they don't realize is this: the field doesn't just listen while you're doing manifestation, it listens all the time. The real signal is broadcast in the ordinary. So the secret is integration. Carrying coherence into the small daily activities that make up most of your life. When you walk, notice your pace. Are you rushing like the world is scarce, or are you walking like someone who has time? Every step is a broadcast. When you eat, are you shoving food in between tasks or slowing down enough to taste and breathe? That rhythm teaches your body whether you're safe or on edge. Even in conversations, do you speak from tension or from the grounded posture of someone who trusts life? Each interaction is another chance to tune the dial. Here's the beauty: you don't need perfection, you need micro moments. Pausing before sending a text, taking one deep breath before opening an email, feeling your feet on the ground before entering a room. These tiny acts stabilize coherence far more effectively than one intense visualization session, because they drip-feed the nervous system a steady signal. This is who I am now. Take something as simple as scrolling. Most people compare, contract, and slip into lack while swiping through other people's highlight reels. But you can reclaim it. Next time you scroll, breathe deeply and let your shoulders drop. Watch as an observer instead of a comparer. Shift from "why not me" to "that's a station I can tune into too." Suddenly the act that usually scrambles your frequency becomes a practice in coherence. Integration is what transforms identity from fragile to unshakable. Because when coherence is woven into the ordinary, it doesn't collapse under stress. It becomes your baseline. And when it's your baseline, manifestation stops being something you do and starts being who you are. But this opens up a new horizon. Because once coherence is part of daily life, it doesn't just touch your personal desires. It begins to ripple outward into your relationships, your creativity, your health, even your sense of purpose. And that's where the ultimate expansion begins. The question is, what happens when your frequency doesn't just shift your own life, but starts reshaping the entire field around you? When you stabilize coherence in the ordinary moments, something remarkable begins to happen. The ripple spreads. Your field doesn't just affect your private experiences, it shapes the way others respond, the opportunities that find you, and even the health of your body. Manifestation expands beyond getting what you want into becoming the kind of presence that transforms the room just by entering it. Let's start with relationships. When your nervous system hums with safety, people feel it. They lean in. They trust more. Arguments dissolve faster because you're not broadcasting defense, you're broadcasting coherence. A partner or friend might not know why, but they sense the difference. They feel safer around you because your body has become a station of safety itself. Now consider creativity. How often have you hit a block, staring at a blank page, a canvas, or a project with nothing flowing? That block isn't a lack of talent. It's a frequency snag. When you're in survival mode, your brain narrows to immediate problems. But when you breathe into coherence, the field opens. Ideas you thought were out of reach begin to land as if from nowhere. Inspiration isn't something you chase. It's something that tunes into you when your signal is clear. Health is another domain where the ripple becomes undeniable. Chronic tension, shallow breathing, constant stress. These are signals your body picks up from the field and amplifies internally. But coherence has a biological mirror. Heart rhythm smooths, cortisol drops, immune response strengthens. The field isn't separate from your biology. Your body is both the tuner and the speaker. Shift the broadcast and cells respond. And then there's purpose. This is where scenario number 3 comes in. Imagine facing a health challenge, fatigue that won't lift, or pain that lingers. Most people's first response is fight. I have to beat this. The body contracts under the weight of battle. But when you approach even illness from coherence, something shifts. You breathe into safety even in discomfort. You tune into the station of wholeness, not pretending the pain doesn't exist, but embodying the version of you already on the path of healing. Suddenly, synchronicities appear. The right doctor, the right practice, the right piece of information. The healing timeline finds you. Expansion into these domains proves manifestation isn't about small tricks. It's about alignment with a larger intelligence that flows through every layer of your life. Once your baseline identity shifts, your relationships deepen, your creativity flourishes, your health recalibrates, and your sense of purpose sharpens. You stop asking, will this work for this area of my life? Because you realize it is life itself tuning into you. But there's one more layer. Beyond the personal, beyond relationships, beyond health and creativity, there's the existential. The moment you realize manifestation isn't about bending the universe to your will at all, but about surrendering into something infinitely larger. And that paradox is where the ultimate strength lies. There's a point on this path where you realize manifestation was never really about getting more things. It was never about the car, the house, the job, or even the relationship. Those were just the training wheels, the practice targets. The deeper truth is that manifestation is about alignment with the intelligence that moves all things. And once you touch that, the game shifts from how do I get what I want to how do I live as a vessel of that flow. This is the paradox most people miss. Surrender is not weakness. Surrender is the highest strength. When you stop trying to control reality and instead align your signal with coherence, you're not giving up. You're syncing with the very force that holds galaxies together. The same intelligence that orchestrates stars and oceans is fully capable of orchestrating your next text message, your next opportunity, your next healing. Think of the radio metaphor again. When you're twisting the dial frantically, desperate for the right station, you hear mostly static. But the moment you pause, steady your hand, and gently tune, the music emerges. That moment of letting go is surrender. You're not forcing the station, you're allowing it to come through. This doesn't mean becoming passive. True surrender is highly active. It means choosing to anchor your nervous system in safety when fear tells you to grip. It means showing up to embody the identity of the station you've chosen, even when results haven't appeared yet. It means trusting the field enough to let it do its work, while you keep your side of the signal clean. And here's where the existential dimension reveals itself. The identity you're rehearsing isn't just future you. It's an expression of something far bigger, the intelligence that dreamed you into existence. When you embody abundance, love, creativity, or healing, you're not fabricating them. You're aligning with the qualities of life itself. You're remembering that your very biology was designed to resonate with coherence. This is why manifestation can feel like a spiritual awakening. Because as you practice tuning, you realize you're not the source of the signal. You're the instrument. The field is the source. And the more you relax into that, the more effortless everything becomes. So here's the ultimate paradox. The less you try to bend life to your will, the more life bends in your favor. The less you cling, the more flows in. What looks like giving up is actually plugging into infinite power. And that brings us to the final step, resolution. How do we land this entire journey in one image, one practice, one closing truth that you can carry forward every single day? If you've stayed with me through this whole journey, you've probably felt the thread weaving together. What began as frustration, life flowing in reverse, desires slipping the harder you chased, has revealed itself as a hidden design. The reversal wasn't punishment, it was instruction. It was the universe showing you the true mechanics of creation. Here's the image I want you to carry with you. Life as a radio, infinite stations already broadcasting. Abundance, scarcity, love, loneliness, healing, illness, joy, despair, all playing at once. Your mind doesn't generate the signal. Your body is the tuner. Every breath, every posture, every assumption dials you into a station. And reality? It doesn't invent the music. It simply amplifies whatever you're tuned to. This is why manifestation felt like it flowed backward. Because when you gripped, you slipped off station. When you surrendered, you tuned in. When you forced, you found static. When you softened, the music emerged. The paradox unraveled. Power doesn't come from pushing, it comes from resonance. And here's the ultimate power hidden inside that. You don't need to chase. You don't need to manipulate reality into giving you something. All you need to do is stabilize in the identity that already belongs to the timeline you desire. Breathe into it, rehearse it, let it become ordinary, and then watch as life, like a perfect echo, begins to play that station all around you. So if you've ever felt like you were shouting into the void, begging the universe to hear you, remember this. The void was never ignoring you. It was simply waiting for you to tune. You are the dial, and the station you choose is the life you live. Now I want to leave you with a question. If you were already broadcasting from the station of the version of you most long to be, how would you walk into tomorrow? That answer is the beginning of your next timeline.